life as a Skyrim adventurer can be a rough one. Traveling through long, winding roads, cold, harsh climates, different terrain, never-ending steep hills and mountains, only to be met by foul beasts, creatures, and people looking to empty your pockets. An endless loop of effort and struggle for glory. But fret not and gather around, adventurers of Skyrim. Yup, this is indeed the cringe way I've chose to address you watching this video. Today is an end to your hard-fought heroics and doings, only to be met by bickering, ungrateful townspeople and dull, dusty inns. As I, your friendly neighborhood real estate agent Gim, will present you to some of the most beautiful, impressive, and creative player home mods, fitting of your thrilling, adventuring personalities. Something that can definitely be found at the steps of this cozy bad boy right here. Found in the midst of trees next to the stream of water pouring down from Half Moon Mill is Half Moon Cottage, created by ACOD or AK0D. Not too sure about the spelling here, but what I am sure of is the absolute beauty of this cottage. It's like straight out of some fantastical painting, or those late night fairy tales we grew up with as kids. Now, it's not the biggest structure you'll ever see, but the mod authors made sure to make use of the little space there is, including stations for alchemy, enchanting, smithing, and cooking, in creative ways that blend nicely into the interior. And it's an interior that just makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside, isn't it? The kind of home you want to come home to after a long day, whether it's to relax by the fireplace, or with a loved one in the alcove, go to bed stargazing, chop some wood, look at stuff from the tower, or hang with the chickens in the garden. Now do keep in mind that should you choose to reside here, you will be neighboring two bloodthirsty vampires. But hey ho, at least you'll have a sweet and creative looking home. And the sheer creativity of the people making these player home mods is definitely a thing you'll continuously be impressed by throughout this video. The ability to coherently put together 3D objects to make outstanding player homes and other forms of level design is a big part in game development. Now imagine you had the knowledge and experience to create your own video games and turn it into an actual career with opportunities for growth. Well, let me tell you about Southern New Hampshire University, who is sponsoring this video. SNHU has one of the largest accredited non-profit online degree offerings in the country, and what might interest you is their game development program. In this program, you'll learn how to create realistic dynamic gameplay experiences with the game AI, game physics, 2D and 3D graphics, and interface design. You'll also learn computer programming languages like C++, C#, and Java, and you'll learn both 3D modeling and texturing with game art software. You will learn how to research, develop, and contribute to advances and trends within the field of game programming, all through SNHU's radically affordable online tuition, with some of the lowest rates in the nation. So go to snhu.edu/Gimlinho down below to see the current average annual salary for a programmer, and learn how you can get started by hopping on a call with a real person that will provide information and discuss the benefits of the program for you. Yup, it only takes one click to find your calling. Thanks to SNHU for sponsoring this video. Alright, so throughout all these years of Skyrim modding, we've seen some brazy player home mods. You know, decked out interiors with so much clutter and whatnots you don't know what to do with them. Crazy exteriors with designs so ambitious they might as well be considered art. And one name that's definitely stood out time and time again is Eleonora. Yeah, I'm talking the Eleonora. From her iconic Breeze Home overhaul, cozy cabins of different types and sizes, giant towers of the truly epic kind, to her most recent mod we're taking a look at today, a hat. Not just any hat, it's an ancient wizard hat. Ooh. It might look like any dusty old hat, but see, you can't physically wear it. So now you're probably like, but Gim, what can I do with this hat? Well, see now, when used, it'll teleport you to your brand new compact pocket dimension player home. This is home in a hat. Wherever you may be with the hat in hand, you'll always have access to this place, and it's filled to the brim, like literally, with all the amenities you might need. Crafting stations, a bed, organized storage, clutter, and more clutter, as well as a mirror you can use to access the race menu and change your appearance. Why live in an actual structure of the real world when you can live inside a hat? Especially if you're the type to go about your adventures all alone. You can just plop the hat down during your travels, do what you need to do, and poof, you're back adventuring. Okay, but maybe on a second thought you actually do want to live in a real physical house, maybe somewhere out in nature where you're able to really relax and achieve a peaceful state of mind. Then there's close to no finer home for me to suggest than Sindora's Hidden Hearth. Aha, yes, Sindora's Hidden Heart by Sindora79. This is a unique looking fantasy style home nestled into an old tree trunk. Now to gain entry, you'll have to pay a small amount of 2,000 septims, as written on the sign at the front gate. And I honestly don't think you'll ever see a better value to home ratio than this, folks. I mean, to start off, you get a whole bloomingly luscious garden. Here you'll find a hot tub for all your hot tubbing needs, a greenhouse for all your alchemy needs, a decent forge for all your armor and weapon crafting needs. The whole garden in general is enough to cover all your needs. But of course you get a whole ass house as well to, you know, even further cover your extra needs that you don't really need at this point. But hey ho, a good player home is all about covering them unneeded needs. And this home certainly does that with one of the most cozy, nice, and all out warm but in a good way looking interiors you'll ever see. I just love how all the rooms are put together here. Rather than having you go through door to door and so on when navigating the space, it's really open and connected in a way that gives you a seamless experience of living. Say maybe you're reading a book in the living room but start feeling hungry, well, a couple steps in this direction and boom, you're in the kitchen ready to cook up a mean feast. Up the spiral stairs to the second floor, you'll find all your enchanting and alchemy stuff, packed with really unique looking decor and glorious clutter. This is also connected to these bedrooms, leaving nothing to be desired when it comes to comfort and neat design. And there's more than enough beds to cover for friends, family, and any and everything in between. There's also a ton of different forms of categorized storage to be found pretty much everywhere, both in these rooms and in the basement where you'll have your very own dynamic treasury that might look a little empty at the start, but after time and effort, it's capable of housing all those marvelous valuables you bring home from your journeys. This player home pretty much covers everything you might need from a player home, and it does it all in a simple yet pretty package. But maybe simple is not what you want. Maybe you want to live in something more complex, like a tower, on top of a house, on top of a ship, on top of a giant mud crab. Well, here is Itzy Tower, a player home on top a giant mud crab by Aki. Yup. Meet Itzy, a giant mud crab resting inside a volcanic hot spring close to the Elder Gleam Sanctuary. Now I say resting because, as stated on the mod page, she's unfortunately grown old and is too weak to lift the ship on top of her. That is indeed the lore, but realistically she's like that due to the author having no idea how to actually make her movable. Which is fine! Living on top of a deceased mud crab can be just as exciting as if it was living. Some people might even prefer being surrounded by dead things, which, if that's the case for any one of you watching, please seek help. The house is generally implemented quite nicely on top of the mud crab, with multiple balconies for both craftsmanship and resting. The interior is of the simple yet still visually pleasing kind. It's the kind of layout where you'll quickly come to learn where everything is. You know, you've got a little living room with different amenities and stations, a kitchen where you've got what you need to get baking. For some reason there's also urns here, but I think I'll stop with the death-themed jokes for now. Up the stairs you'll find both the master bedroom, there's also some extra ones on the floor below for guests, and an attic with even more storage space. At the bottom is a small bathroom, and on the tippity top, a tower with bookshelves enough to store a total of around 556 books. Oh, and you'll also get this normal sized mud crab as a pet, and it'll constantly be making that sound you know mud crabs make. If that gets annoying, you can just kill it. Again, I don't know why I'm on this death stuff again. Let's just move on, cause the author Aki's made yet another tower that might pique your interest. And just as how that previous tower had that uniqueness in its exterior design, you know, being on top of a mud crab and all that, this next tower's also got that certain something to it that makes it stand out. This mod is simply named Aki's Tower, and after gathering the clues on the ground, hinting to a key, it'll be your tower. But it ain't no normal looking tower, nah, we don't do those around here. See, this tower is a tower standing on top of an island that has ripped itself out of the ground. Yup, it's got legs. If this ain't the most straight out of a children's book type house you've ever seen, then I don't know what is. Now, does it move? No. But that still doesn't take away from the sheer mystical and magical sense of, magicalness and intrigue you experience when looking up as you're approaching on foot. The structure looks magnificent. I mean, it really is a sight to behold. Like, surely this is at a point where you might consider it a form of art. While the look of the exterior is obviously the mod's main selling point, you still get all the crafting stations and custom storage you need on these compact, circular floors in the interior of the tower. There isn't a lot of space to move around like normally. No, you'll mostly be scaling these ladders to go up and down. The interior design looks clean, homely, and it's got that lived-in feel to it. I can definitely see this player home mod being perfect if you're playing as a sorcerer, alchemist, or maybe even a Dunmer type character. Especially if you go with the version of the mod placing the structure on top of a mountain in Solstheim, a version that I actually prefer. You don't see too many player home mods set over here outside of the Skyrim mainland, but I think it adds to the overall aesthetic. But if for whatever reason, let's say you have a certain need of living higher up in the sky, maybe these tall towers don't do it for you. Maybe your dragonborn senses are tingling and you feel a longing to connect with the skies, inhale the cloudy air and feel like you can spread your arms and be free. Or maybe you just want to fly in a ship like in 2002's Disney film Treasure Planet, a severely underrated Disney movie I might add. Then I have to recommend Luftship K747 by Diopri and Kojak 747. Now, if you're a person who's truly been about it, you might recognize this as an OG mod from way back called Dev Avisa. We're talking 2012. I was 12 years old, and boy do I remember being absolutely amazed at how cool this looked as I loaded it up on my thick, dusty-ass gaming laptop where I was running my overly saturated 16 FPS clusterfuck of a mod list. Yup, good times. And all these years later, it's actually kinda crazy that we're at a point where I can look at the mod released today and still be able to say that, ladies and gentlemen, we're still in good times. See, Luftship is an alternate version of the original airship mod, updated with refactored and optimized scripts, increasing performance, response, and stability. There's also some additional features like the fully working LOD, giving you the ability to see the airship from afar, updated scripts, tweaked interior, and generally better controls when driving the ship. Cause yeah, in the slim case you might not have known, the airship is a fully functioning way for you to travel across the skies of Skyrim. This mod is just all out vibes, and maybe remember some of the scuffed, yet fun modding days I experienced in my younger years. Now, how about we move on to something else, cause this is making me feel kinda old. And the last unique and creative player home mod we're taking a look at today is the incredible Melandriel, a small piece of Valenwood in Skyrim, by Armin ZX12. From this big tree guardian giant walking around, to long intertwining roots linking the tall trees, forming the foundations to these sack-looking huts found within the trees themselves, this mod adds a nice little Bosmer village near Cradle Crush Rock. You know, a bit of Valenwood in Skyrim. Within the village, you'll find clutter and design choices that just make sense. Like nothing stands out in a messy bad way, it all looks grounded, like it's all a part of an official Bethesda DLC. And to be able to accomplish that with something that generally strays so far away from everything else in the game, just tells us all about the time and effort put into the mod. While at its core, it very much is a player home mod, there's just so much more to it that makes this area feel more immersive. As for the player home itself, you might get a little bit confused when it comes to the layout, but the confusion as you explore these different buildings and rooms for the first time actually makes for quite a fun experience. Cause whether we're talking about the living room, bedroom, lab, basement, or the treetops stacked with crafting stations, it all just looks really good. Staying true to that wood elf design where everything just feels in tune with nature. From the real artistic looking furniture, to leaves and ivy on the walls, clutter and notes of nature stuff and things. Mushrooms, even ones that walk around. This is an all-out high-quality, creative, unique, and fun player home mod, and it's the last one for today. Yup, if you made it this far into the video, then you either love player home mods or kinda just don't mind me. Either way, leaving a little like down below is an easy way to show your appreciation. If you're looking to install any of the mods on the Nexus, make sure to endorse them. Just like leaving a like or comment on YouTube, it's totally free and is capable of making someone's day. This has been Gim. May your road lead you to warm sands, everyone. See ya!